when we talk about distractions, most of you listening, your perception of what I'm saying or someone else is saying when we talk about distractions is everything outside of the business, right? So social media, YouTube, whatever, stuff that's pulling you away from your goals and your vision and your purpose. But distractions are actually probably affecting you much more inside the community, inside of your business, because you're being pulled in so many directions. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Diamond Life Mentor with your host, Balazs W Kardos. This is an exciting episode where we're going to be diving in to finishing strong in 2024 and maximizing your Q4 with the final quarter of the year, right? Can you believe that we're already 3/4 of the way finished this incredible year of 2024? I don't know about you, but this year has been really eventful, full of so much exciting stuff, and it's been a great year. And I'm really excited for the last quarter with my son arriving in the month of October at some point, getting so close, which is the ultimate finale of a dream that I've had since as long as I can remember. And it really does feel like the cherry on top of the pie for living my diamond life, and all of the freedom and all of the impact and all of the success and all of that great stuff was in anticipation for me to be a father and a family man and to create that incredible lifestyle to be able to have with my family. And I think that the experience of parenting and becoming a parent is one of the greatest gifts that anyone can ever have. And it's just such a beautiful experience, even if you are struggling, even if you don't have a lot of money, even if, all these other factors are challenging, you still get so much joy from your children and so much meaning and all of that great stuff. However, my personal perception and my personal belief is that when we can create an inspiring environment, when we can create freedom in our lifestyle, when we're able to be more present and focused and less stressed and less overwhelmed and less busy, just trying to manage everything, that creates a much better experience both as parents and as children. And I wanted to not just go through the motions of having kids, right? And almost like try to get to the next stage of development because the stages are challenging and difficult, but actually savor it and enjoy it and really just have a completely different day-to-day experience when your lifestyle is designed this way. And for me to be welcoming my son into that environment that we work so hard to create is truly remarkable. I feel so lucky, so blessed, and so excited for this next little bit here. So I just wanted to start off with that. But when we get into this time of the year, there's a whole bunch of different ways that we can look at things. And you personally need to make sure that you're spending some time reflecting and doubling down on understanding and getting to know yourself. And so when you look back at this year, you will see patterns if you look for them and recognize them. You will see how you approached your life. You will see how you approached your schedule. You will see the things that you said you were going to do, and then if you actually did them or not. You will see what your priorities were when you look at your bank statements of where you spent your money. You will see where you rose to the occasion and got uncomfortable and did it anyways, even when it was scary, and where you actually let fear dictate your actions or inaction and keep you stuck in a repetitive cycle for this entire year that you knew you had to break through the beginning of 2024, you may be still stuck in that same pattern 9 months later. So I believe that we need to really reflect on the key learnings of this year so far, right? What are some mindset shifts that you've had? What are some opportunities for you to acknowledge and recognize your growth? There's no way that you are in this community, listening to my podcast, being on training calls, watching weekly calls and taking action and implementing and showing up on social media and generating leads or attempting to generate leads, working on your health and fitness and going to the gym and drinking more Kangen water and making healthier choices. There's no possible way that if you've actually been doing your best to grow, to evolve, to double down on these important elements of success and important habits that you can develop and create throughout the year, there's no way that you haven't improved. There's no way that you haven't gotten better. There's no way that you can't find many wins. And also some truths, sometimes hard truths, where you face the reality and recognize that for whatever reason, some things you're avoiding or some things you're not doing that you should be doing, and then uncovering why that is so it doesn't persist, it doesn't continue, all right? Now, if you've been listening to my podcast throughout the year, you've also heard some of the challenges that I've faced, some of the things that have happened that were difficult for me this year. It hasn't definitely been easy across the board. There's been plenty of growth opportunities for myself as well, plenty of very challenging things that have happened. But we have continued to double down and move forward in the direction where we're creating leverage systems, we're creating better processes, we're upgrading how we run day-to-day operations, both in my personal life and also in my business life. So there's been this constant, never-ending improvement of recognizing why we're doing things the way we're doing them, taking a look at the outcomes that we're producing, the results that we're producing, and then tweaking, adjusting, improving as an ongoing process. And so recently, some of the most exciting things that I've been sharing with you, multiple podcast episodes, is around this new GPM ecosystem that is starting to roll out now, with GPM Base being the first of the 3 pieces. That is so exciting, and the response has been amazing. We have over 1,700 people inside the base in less than a month. And just seeing like this vision come to life has been really, really cool. And we're already rolling out continued features and upgrades, and then the next phase is coming soon. So it's just a really, really exciting time. Now, when you look at the end of the year, there is some mindset adjustments that are valuable for you to consider. And what that really means is, like, when we think of end of the year, a lot of people start to think they're like winding down the year, right? They're easing off the gas pedal. They're starting to think about holidays, and there's so many, right? Depending on where you live in the world and what your beliefs are and all of that stuff, it's a little different for everybody. But generally speaking, in North America, we have Thanksgiving, we have Remembrance Day or Veterans Day. Then we have, I think it's like Black Friday and Cyber Monday and all kinds of like Christmas related stuff. And it just gets to be a lot of family time, work time, celebration time, Christmas parties, all this kind of thing. And of course, I think that there's a time and place for those things to be enjoyed. However, there's also a lot of power in recognizing you specifically, what season you're in, and have you earned that quote unquote holiday time or celebration time throughout the year? Because that's how I look at it. I look at it like you're building momentum and you're creating results so that you have something to actually celebrate, not just for the sake of it because on the calendar it says it's a long weekend, or it says that you're supposed to go here or be at this Christmas party or whatever the case is. I look at it as like we are earning that time off throughout the year so that when you do take time away from your business, when you spend more quality time with your kids or whatever it may be, you have this sense of peace, you have a sense of accomplishment, and you have a sense of you've truly earned it rather than guilt and shame and thinking about money and like not really being present because you know that you didn't really earn it and you were procrastinating and being lazy and all this kind of thing throughout the year. So you have a chance right now for the next, 8 to 10 weeks to really step your game up, to finish this year strong and looking at it from a different perspective. Like, the way that successful people operate is they look at the fourth quarter of the year as preseason to the new year. Because if you look at it as the conclusion and an ending, you lose momentum and you wind down energy. And then it takes a lot of energy to get that fired back up in January. And so sometimes people who wind down with that mindset, they don't actually get any sort of traction for 4 to 6 weeks in the new year. So when you factor all of that in, you could be losing up to 8 weeks of momentum because beginning of December, you wind down, New Year's comes, then you got to ramp back up. And that's like basically all of December and all of January is a wash from productivity, from income, from growth, from all these really important aspects when you're building a business like we are. So consider that. Consider how you can actually reprioritize things right now. And look at what are the most important things that you should be focusing on, right? Because you don't have to do all things at all times. You need to actually recognize what is the most important thing, simplify, remove things, right? This idea of addition by subtraction, of like simplicity, running the play. The boring is what produces results. Going back to the same play, running it again, running one funnel, one ad strategy, one script, one presentation, just keeping it really, really, really simple and mastering it and doing it more often. You know what I'm saying? And if you just did that for the next quarter, I'm sure you'd produce way more results than logging on to social media every single day and just being bombarded by people's marketing strategies and their plans and their all these things, and you constantly falling for it, where someone has a call to action post and you're in there, info, me, send me the link, free course, whatever, and you're like thinking that the solution is outside of yourself, that you still feel like you don't have what you're looking for to be successful. And this is actually like a major pandemic in the business world, especially in the affiliate marketing space, the online space, is this feeling of not enoughness and this feeling of someone else has the secret, and for whatever reason you think that you're not privy to that information, that you haven't already been given exactly what you need to do, but you just keep thinking it can't possibly be that. It can't be that simple. It can't be that training. It can't be that strategy. It's got to be something over here that I don't have. So let me go over there. Let me grab this thing. Let me try this thing. And if you compare this to a different alternative, for example, like learning a language or learning a musical instrument, imagine how ridiculous it would be for someone to say, I want to learn Spanish. And by the end of this week, you went onto social media and someone is on social media talking about how they're got the best strategy to learn German really fast. And you go, oh, okay, well, if I can learn German faster than Spanish, maybe I'll just do German instead. And like, I'll do Spanish some other time. And every week it's like the following week it's Portuguese, and then the next week after that it's Italian, and the next week after that, you know what I mean? At the end of the year, you've tried to learn 50 languages for 7 days each, because every time you log on to social media, someone has a different language they're learning, and they're telling you it's the greatest thing and the greatest language under the sun, and you keep falling for it. That's the same thing as you going on social media, being in a global community with literally thousands of successful affiliates that are all doing maybe a slightly different variation of this business, and you thinking that their way is going to be the secret way. Where in fact, if you just stuck with Spanish for the entire year, you would actually figure it out. You'd be speaking it pretty well, and you would get the results that you want. Or a musical instrument, right? This week it's piano, next week it's guitar, the week after that is drums, and then it's saxophone, and you barely even get the hang of it. You try to play it, you sound ridiculous. It's like loud and obnoxious and turn it off, right? And then you're like, oh, well, I guess this instrument's not for me because it sounds so bad. Well, of course it does. You've literally played it a few minutes, you know? So while it is really, really cool that you can build this business in so many different ways, it's actually a great danger to people's success when they continue to fall for it. They change their funnels. They change their platform. They change their strategy. They change the leader that they're paying attention to and listening to. They're scattered. And it's one thing to be distracted outside of business, like watching stupid videos that don't serve a purpose besides maybe a little bit of entertainment and make you laugh or something like this, which is fine for a few minutes a day. But I mean, like at the end of the day, when we talk about distractions, most of you listening, your perception of what I'm saying or someone else is saying when we talk about distractions is everything outside of the business, right? So social media, YouTube, whatever, stuff that's pulling you away from your goals and your vision and your purpose. But distractions are actually probably affecting you much more inside the community, inside of your business, because you're being pulled in so many directions. You're thinking that anybody who's having success or anybody who's making money or anybody who's in the same company as you is worth listening to. And that's only true if you are devoted to that person and that strategy for long enough to actually get results with it. That's the only time it's true. Otherwise, you're going to be conflicted. Otherwise, some people are very strongly opinionated on paid advertising versus organic advertising versus this type of strategy, this type of sales call. And some of the people inside the business are actually guilty of doing this because they're actually trying to grow their platforms and suggest that their way is better and some of that kind of thing as well. So all I'm getting at is if you've been around the community for a little while, then you probably have recognized what feels good for you. If you are someone who prefers to post pictures with writing, like written captions, like more copywriting, versus short form videos like reels versus paid ads versus organic, and what your strengths and weaknesses are and what you are actually the most excited about learning and improving and growing your business. So as one of the homework assignments for you to crush it in Q4 is simplify your life. Simplify who you listen to. Turn down the noise. Stop following every leader in the community on social media. Because each time you're scrolling on your stories, going from this person to this person to this person, you're actually getting mixed messaging. And if you're getting the mixed messaging, you're going to like finish doing what you're doing on your phone or whatever and just kind of be left partially inspired because you see other people crushing it and winning, but partially also confused. And I've noticed this in myself as well, where there's an element where I want to stay in the know, in like the knowing of the leaders and knowing of the community. Like I like to follow their stories and their journeys as much as I can. And obviously I can't follow everybody, but I've actually noticed how the messaging isn't for me. And if it's not for you and it's not congruent and it's not in alignment, then that's giving you the wrong information. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like most of the people that are promoting their business on social media are promoting it to their ideal client, which is most likely not you. And if you're already an enagic, then like it's for sure not for you. And it's one of the most frustrating things for me as well is I'll do a call to action post and I'm looking for people not in enagic. And a whole bunch of people in my enagic team are the ones who are commenting and DMing me and like pretending to be a lead, wasting my time, wasting my team's time. It's like, guys, I'm trying to grow my business as well. You know what I mean? So that's happening not just for me, but it's happening for other people. It's like, don't watch people and then participate and pretend and have this curiosity thing, because once again, you're acting like you don't have what you already need rather than just doubling down and actually doing the work that has been laid out for you. And you cannot skip the work, right? Joining one platform and then switching to another platform and then switching to another platform will never ever solve the problem that you have, which is lack of commitment and follow through on a specific strategy. Stick to one strategy. Technically, they all work if you work it. You know what I mean? So that's a really important thing for you to look at and recognize. Is that you? Is that what you've been doing for the past 3 quarters of this year? Is just like running around with your head cut off, trying everything and getting nowhere, instead of just actually sticking to one simple process, one funnel, one ad strategy the whole year, you would have drastically different, better results. When we get towards the end of the year, right, a lot of the times people start drinking more, eating junk food, exercising less, making excuses. You know, the winter months, maybe there's not as much sunshine. Maybe you're not, like wearing more baggy clothes. And I think that it's very, very important that you recognize that you can still have fun. You can still eat whatever holiday types of foods, but just do it mindfully and do it in moderation, right? Like, don't smash like 12 cookies at Christmas dinner. Have 1, have 2, keep it in check. Maybe you fast that day. So there's all these strategies to minimize the negative consequences and negative effects of what's going to happen in the fourth quarter. And same thing with your business. If you know that you're going to be more busy doing social things or work-related things, or maybe you have events or traveling or these kinds of things coming up, then just prioritize the most important, highest value tasks first thing in the morning, so that you're pretty much guaranteeing that it gets done before the day slips out of your hands with unexpected things that might come up, all right? Another idea around this concept of preseason for 2025 is, if you want to launch a funnel or your own web class or some exciting project that will help grow your business in 2025, you can use the fourth quarter as a preseason of preparation to start building it, refining it, editing it, putting it together, and then having it ready to go pretty much when the year begins. So that's a really powerful element of preseason towards the new year. And also keep in mind that when you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you're building this legacy freedom business, you cannot afford to take your foot off the gas. You cannot afford to kill the momentum that you're working so hard to create. So even when you're celebrating a holiday is technically one day, right? So if you think about like even something like Christmas, people take 2-3 weeks off for Christmas holidays, but like Christmas is December 25th. It's one day. You know what I mean? So there are people that will put in 2-3 hours of work first thing in the morning, wake up early on Christmas Day, and still get some stuff done, and then enjoy the afternoon with their family, and then put in a little bit of work in the evening. You know what I mean? Like, that is what entrepreneurs have to do. That is what people that are trying to continue to grow this legacy business have to do if that's the season you're currently in, where you don't have a massive business, you're not 682-3, you don't have legacy income and monthly and quarterly income and stuff, and you're still building it. Is like taking too much time away from your business is going to hurt you, because a lot of the mentality and the mindset coming up towards the end of the year is people realizing that like they do need a side income. They do need to start a business. They aren't being proactive. And so if your voice is quiet or offline because you're, doing your own thing, that's opportunities that are going to be missed. So I think that as we get into this last quarter, you need to just decide what you want it to look like. What do you want it to represent? Do you want it to be the catalyst that shifts everything into high gear for 2025? Do you want it to be the season where you slow down and do whatever because you've crushed it already all year? You need to decide where you want to be in the next 90 days. You need to decide what it looks like for yourself and what you're willing to sacrifice and the work that you're willing to put in leading up to the end of the year. If you're in a tight financial situation, you might want to create some additional income so that you can take your family on a holiday, that you can afford to, have a really nice holiday experience with your children, whether that's gifts or experiences or a trip, whatever that looks like. Giving back to people in need in your family, helping them pay for their bills. Obviously, some people are having a really hard year with inflation and all that kind of thing. So this could really be the next 8 weeks that sets you up for a very abundant and fruitful finish of the year and leading you into a beautiful 2025. So personally, for me, the season that I'm in, I've worked very, very hard for many, many years to allow myself that space to welcome my son into the world, to pretty much get rid of any sort of calls and obligations and projects that I simply I'm gonna put on pause as much as I want to and need to. That doesn't mean that I won't create or build or work on things at all. It just means I'm gonna do it 100% on my terms. And so if I had a late night or, little sleep, then I'll just move stuff around, cancel it if I need to, until I have that space, have that energy, have that focus to chip away and work on certain projects. I have an amazing team in place, and they're going to be moving forward all of our GPM ecosystem projects because they have a long list of stuff that they're going to be working on. So we're not stopping the development. We're not stopping the rollout. It's just my day-to-day involvement is allowing the spaciousness to welcome my son into the world, to make those adjustments as a family of 4. And it's just so beautiful, man. I'm so excited that it's the fourth quarter, easing into the holidays, and really enjoying the freedom, really enjoying the wealth of and the lifestyle that we've worked so hard to create, because this is what it was for. It was to not feel stressed out, to not worry about maternity leave or paternity leave, or, like we're designing his nursery and shopping and getting some stuff ready, and it does add up, right? Especially when you have high standards and really good taste and you want to have the best of the best for all these different baby-related things. They're definitely not cheap. But we don't want to have a cheap life. That's not how we think. We're not trying to get bargain deals and cheap stuff and secondhand used shit, and that's not our style, right? We are the ones that have decided that the standards that we operate at are high standards with looking for the best quality, right? Sometimes little things that people don't consider is like the materials of baby clothes. Like if it's not 100% cotton, if it's like polyester or something, it's terrible for you to put it onto your child. Or organic food, or, just different things. Like there are so many intricate, specific details around what is good for your child. And it's shocking how few people out there actually care, right? We see sometimes parents putting diapers on their kids, which is literally going on their private parts, with not going to get into the specifics, but you get the idea. It's like a vulnerable part of the body, and putting plasticky, shitty quality diapers on with PFAs. And, anyways, the point is it's not us caring about what other people do. It's just more so being the high quality diapers that are organic with none of that stuff verified, we can't even get it in Canada. We have to go across the border and import this brand for diapers. You know what I mean? So these are the standards we hold for ourselves and our family. And all of it is possible because of the hard work and the leverage that we created for so many years leading up to this. So I'm going into a season of of nesting, of newborn world, of supporting my wife, of integrating our family. And I'm just so excited for that. And I know our business will continue to boom. It's been growing month over month like crazy. We actually have our first -6 in our organization in our downline that happened last month. So I'm one -6 away from -7, which is just wild to think. I'm pretty positive we'll be able to celebrate that at the 51st anniversary convention, where I'll be coming with my family and my daughter and my son, which will be his technically second convention because he was in Margaret's tummy at the 50th. But man, just a beautiful time. I'm wishing all of you an amazing fourth quarter, and really just recognizing and taking accountability and looking at your bank statements for the first 9 months, like actually finding out how much money have you made for this year? You know, how many leads have you generated this year? How many sales calls have you had? How many pieces of content have you created? Like actually getting data and quantifying what exactly have you built? You know, who have you become? How many books have you read? You know, how many podcast episodes have you completed? How much action have you taken on the goals that you say you want to achieve in this life and in your business? Once we get the data in front of us and we can actually go, wow, this is how much time, energy, money, and sacrifice I've put towards these goals so far in 2024, either you're going to like what you see and you're going to be like, damn, I'm working really hard, or you're going to kind of be shocked and be like, oh, that's it? What have I been doing? What has been more important? Where has my time gone? And that self-awareness and that looking in the mirror moment often is the catalyst that changes how you're showing up in the finishing quarter of the year. Like you go, wait a second, this isn't enough. I have to do more. I have to be more focused towards the things that are going to move the needle forward in your business, right? So tie this back to your why. Why are you here? Why do you listen to my podcast? Why did you get started and invest in yourself in this business? Why does all of this matter to you? And then make sure you're showing up with a match to that, all right? Now, when it comes to my Diamond Life mentorship programs, we're making a bit of a shift and an adjustment because we have a curriculum that is self-led that you can go through for both programs. And then we also have bi-weekly group coaching calls. And so in case you've been considering reaching out to my team and doing my mentorship, we have an amazing offer for you guys while I take a little bit of time off from the calls. And there's two things that we're adding that is just wild in terms of value. So the first thing is that the calls typically are a 12-week rolling mentorship, which what that means is that you get 6 live calls with me that are, anywhere from a couple hours long. In the accelerator, we have the top 5 questions for that call that I focus on and give coaching on. And then in the blueprint, which is the 10K plus per month program, everybody in that program gets to ask a question each call, and I address every single person in the blueprint on that call. So what we're doing is we're actually going to be having guest trainers for the live calls portion. So you're going to have experiences from different high-level leaders teaching different skills instead of myself for the next little bit. I'm not sure exactly how long, but we're also going to change the replays from only 6 calls, the most recent 6 replays when you invest into the mentorship. So you get a total of 12 calls, 6 replays and 6 live calls in a typical program that we've had set up for a little while. We're going to give you access to every single recorded call replay that I've ever done in either of the programs. So that's literally like $5,000 to $10,000 worth of real value in real bonuses. And not only that, but we're setting it up in a Q&A type of FAQ format where you'll be able to ask specific questions and then have the call that I talk about that question easy for you to find. So rather than just having endless amount of replay calls where you're not even sure what exactly was discussed, we're going to give you some key ways to search the database of all of the calls that I've done to give you my insights and my experience and my coaching, which is literally priceless, but real world value based on what people have paid for the monthly and the program in and of itself for the past 5 years. We're doing that as a special offer, giving you full access of all calls for 12 months. And we've never done a deal this good before. So if you've been on the fence and you want to really crush the end of this year, moving into 2025, you have an opportunity right now to click the button in the show notes to book a call with my team and invest into the Diamond Life Mentorship with special guest trainers and all access to replays plus the curriculum. I don't even know. I think this is a little bit crazy. I told my team, are you sure? That's an insane amount of value. And they said they think it's a great idea, and I agreed with them. So that's an update on that for everybody. And I'll be releasing some more exciting podcast episodes in the fourth quarter as well. So I'll be sharing some specific tools and strategies for creating wealth, health, and personal breakthroughs for 2025. So please make sure that you remember to subscribe to the podcast, share it with your friends, share it with your team. If you haven't already filled out the intake form and got yourself into the GPM base, I highly recommend that you do that. We will be closing the doors any day now for a while and only allowing community migrations through our other leaders for a temporary period of time while we iron out some more things. And we're going to scale the communities. And in 2025, I promise you what we're going to do and what we're going to create has never been seen and never been done inside of Enagic. And it's going to be absolutely amazing. And I'm so excited for that. And as soon as my son is born, I'm just going to continue to level up in terms of becoming the man that I've always wanted to become, the best father, the best husband. And I'll be sharing some more about my perspective and my excitement and my joy around becoming a daddy to a daughter and a son very soon here. So much love to you. Thanks for listening. Crush it in Q4. Get plugged into the mentorship program with all these amazing bonuses that are live, and stay tuned for the next episodes. Subscribe, tag us on Instagram at the Diamond Life Mentor. Make sure you tag me as well on my personal at Balazs W Kardos. And I'm pumped and excited, and I'll see you on the next episode. All right, take care, guys.